What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of HermitPack on the HermitCraft server. Yeah, guys, so last few episodes we've been working with the 5x mechanism or processing, and it's going pretty well. So you guys have told me in the comments that you can fill in the gaps around the mechanical pipes. I guess all the mechanism pipes, the ones that say MC multi-part there and the tooltip at the top. Yes, they are all compatible with Chisel and Bits. So I went ahead and I just grabbed a grass block, took all the bits away, chopped up into little bits, and then drew out these little facades. And as you can see, it does work. And as you can see, it does not retain the biome color. So I don't know if that's a problem with the mechanism or that's a problem with Chisel and Bits. I don't know. Either way, it's better than seeing down into the basement. I don't like the gray, but I don't like seeing down to the basement. So we're going to go with it for right now anyway. So you can see here the gas pipes. There's a hole around them. Yep, that's like you draw from this pixel over to this pixel. So you just make one plane that's 1 pixel deep and it leaves a hole in the center, right? But that hole is the same size as the hole for these. You can see the difference between those two, the pipe sizes, I guess. Yeah, so the inside is always empty. You can't draw any pixels there, or at least it just doesn't place any. But you can see the pipe is a different size, so there is still a hole. I don't know if there's anything I can do about that. Not really that big of a deal, but just something to note. So grass is not great to work with the Chisel and Bits and the mechanism pipes, and the gas has a little hole in the center, but whatever. It looks better not being able to see down there in like a whole lot of spots, in my opinion. I'm hoping that some update in the future will just fix the grass color, but for, like I said, it's not that big of a deal. So I'm pretty happy with it. So things that have been happening, I keep logging off, doing things, you know, not recording, not playing on the server, coming back, and then my power is all empty. Yeah. So I've been doing this, adding a second ultimate gas tank here. We have like 4 of them that we're keeping full outside. So I've just taken this one that we have connected to our pipes over here. Just set it so the front is the input as well. So you got an input on the bottom for when we set it on the pipe, and the front's an input too. And this one here we have set to an output on the back, just like they always are. We'll just keep an input on the front, so I can stick another one in front of this one if we need to. We can kind of just stack them. You don't have to connect them at all. Just place them next to each other. This one is sending its gas to the one behind it, which is kind of cool. So it kind of doubles the amount of fuel that we have here. Yeah, it's not so bad. If I need another one, like I said, I can just stick it right in front of here and just kind of walk away, and we'll always have power. Our power is doing pretty good, even with the stuff that we got going on back there right now. Like I said, we're only using about 8,000 RF per tick, so it's not like super crazy. It ran out of power when it was doing the osmium ore we did in the last episode. Like, it was still trying to catch up, and I logged off, and I came back on. The entire base was out of power. So I just replaced that gas tank, and now it's trying to make more, I guess, sulfur. Yeah, and then it's making the whatever this stuff is, the chloride. I can never remember the names of all these different chemicals. There's just so much of it, the hydrogen chloride. So things we were talking about for keeping the system up and running all the time. Yeah, we wanted to put some inline gas tanks on some of these lines, like that, the hydrogen chloride. I almost couldn't remember that again. We want to put like a gas tank on there, so it fills up that gas tank, and then that gas tank can provide the hydrogen chloride for everything when it needs it. Same thing for like our brine. We keep running out of this stuff too when we need whatever the hydrogen out of that, or whatever the other one is, the chlorine. Yeah, so we need to get a few inline things going. I did make myself a quantum tank, so I do expect this is going to be pretty easy to at least get the brine up and running. So we kind of want to input from the tank into, I guess, from our solar evaporator into this tank, and then from the tank can continue on. So this will just be like an inline kind of a thing here. It will be pretty simple to do. Our version of Mekanism has been upgraded, so we can just go ahead and break this with a pickaxe now, which is nice, and not worry about crashing the game anymore. Or we can use the configurator, whichever. So we can put this guy right here. This will start storing up brine. Yeah, and see we're getting it quite quickly. And then all we gotta do is just set this bottom pipe right here to extract. Where is my configurator? Is it? Oh, it's right here. I couldn't see it. Yeah, I had these torcherinos on me. I was trying to see if we could. Oops, I have that set on rich mode. I was trying to see if we could speed up the hydrogen chloride using the torcherino, but it didn't seem to speed it up that significantly, and I don't want to have to keep using it. Or I don't want to have to keep using those torcherinos if I don't have to. Like I've said before, You know what? We are on a new pack, and I don't think I've set that control. So what is that? That's the Mekanism. What is it? Mekanism, item mode switch. I think I had this set to like Shift O before or something. Back to game, Shift O. There it goes. Fluid. So now we can shift right click. Extract. There we go. Perfect. Okay, so now we are storing up our brine here, and then any extra. Or I'm sorry. We are sending our brine through here, and any extra will end up in this quantum tank, which should hold pretty much unlimited amounts of the stuff, so that's pretty good. Somehow all of the items of my hotbar got sent to my inventory. I don't know. I must have hit some key combination that did that for me. Okay, so we got that taken care of, which is pretty cool. So now I need to get some gas tanks set up. I am really about ready to make myself a new dark steel armor plate without the elytra wings on it. I wanted the elytra wings because I think they look cool or whatever, right? But it's constantly making me hover, and you can't like turn off the elytra functionality. At least not that I'm aware of. I'll have to look into that, but I'm to the point now where I'm like, I want to make a new pair of armor without the elytra wings on it. Yeah, I don't know if we can take that off. I'll have to figure that out. But anyway, I'm going to go ahead and get some more gas tanks made up over here. We'll put some in line for this guy. Probably one for the oxygen too. I think we need a decent amount of that. Hydrogen we're only using directly here. Is there anything else of note? That is getting the oxygen. This is all being made on the spot over here. We are making sulfuric acid. Maybe that'd be another one to get like a tank full of. Anyway, let me go ahead and get some stuff done. We'll be right back, guys. All right, guys. So I went ahead and I made those gas tanks like I said I was going to make. Instead of making like the basic or the advanced or the elite, we went straight to the ultimate gas tanks. These are the ones that we're using to fill up, say our power over here, our ethylene gas. Yeah, so all of these are ultimate gas tanks as well. So I decided to make these. Now, these ultimate gas tanks are kind of annoying to make by hand. I made the previous ones that we had by hand. And I was like, you know what? Enough's enough. Let's go ahead and get that metallurgic infuser stuff set up. So just so you can see, one of these ultimate requires 4 of these atomic. The atomic requires the reinforced alloy plus like one of these different things. So like refined obsidian is obsidian dust plus crushed diamond. Yeah. And then see, to make the reinforced, you need the enrich plus a diamond, and then the enrich is the redstone plus the iron ingot. So we have all of those things set up over here, and it turns out it requires 3 separate metallurgic infusers to set it up the way that I did. Okay, so this first one right here, this one's always going to do the redstone stuff, so we can put in iron to the top, redstone goes into the back. Previously, we had the setup so we were exporting redstone into this thing all the time. Yeah, you guys had pointed out to me in the comments after we set that one up that we could kind of do this in a smarter way. So I'm using a lot of the Ender IO conduits to do this for us. Yeah, you can kind of see this conduit goes to the top, and then we got the conduit facades on there. Can I see? Okay, here we go. Yeah, so you can see that the conduits are going to the top. That's the item that's going in, like the iron ingot, for instance, is going into this one. There should be a filter on there. I'm not sure. Do I have to hold like a conduit to see this stuff, or can I do that with the wrench? I feel like if I click it with the wrench, we're going to do bad stuff. Let me just grab a conduit real quick and see if I can click. If I click there. Okay, so here we go. So we can see here that we have it inserting. You know what? There's supposed to be a filter here. Why is there not a filter there? There's a filter in this one. A filter in this one. Okay, well, I guess I must have made a mistake. I must have left a filter out. Let's correct that together. So we'll grab a filter. Yeah, that should be set to iron only. Which is weird because I thought this thing was working just a little bit ago, but maybe not. All right, we'll put the filter there. We'll put this guy there. All right, so there we go. So this will only accept iron to the top. On the back here, it's only going to accept redstone. So this one right here is going to accept the enriched alloys and the obsidian powder. And on the back, we're going to accept diamond dust, right? And then this one over here accepts the reinforced alloy. And on the back, it accepts the refined obsidian dust. So this middle one we're sharing between 2 different recipes, which is kind of cool for the diamond. So yeah, we can put in both the enriched alloy and the obsidian powder. Both of those get infused with diamonds. So we have one crafter down here with all these different patterns to make all these different things. All the items that these things need gets ejected into this chest. The chest then gets auto-extracted through the conduit into the respective metallurgic infuser. on the bottom, we have the power going into the machines, and we also have item conduits on the brown channel set to extract. Now, the reason why we changed the channel, otherwise, if we, for instance, made one of these guys over here, the enriched alloy or whatever, the red one, it'll go directly into this machine through the top if it's a part of the green network, the enriched alloy. So we want that to be extracted from here and just go straight into this interface back into the refined storage system. If that thing needs to be processed into something else, that'll just end up back over into this chest and that'll get processed. Yeah, so we have to do the extraction on a different colored channel. So the crusher is set up kind of the same way, except yeah, it's only got the one recipe right now, just to crush diamond into diamond dust, and we're just extracting from the bottom into that same interface. So yeah, the Ender IO conduits are definitely making this a lot easier than what I was thinking it was going to be if we were just doing refined storage only. So I'm pretty happy with this setup. So yeah, like I said, all those different patterns are down here in this one crafter. They all get ejected into this chest, they get processed, and then they all get extracted into the interface, which goes back into the system. It makes my life a lot easier, so I like it. So if I wanted to tell the system to make one of those, well, I don't know, say the atomic alloy. Actually, if I told the system to make an ultimate gas tank, this might be better to see. So we'll go ahead and start that up. You can see all the different things this requires. We'll go ahead and click start. See some diamonds start getting crushed. Iron starts getting processed. We'll see some obsidian getting infused to refine. And then eventually over here, we will see the resulting alloy being combined with the obsidian one. There we go. There's the reinforced, there's the atomic alloys. Pretty awesome. I like that. There might be a way where you can kind of compact this down and use less of the metallurgic infusers, but honestly, I think it's better having one for each of the different steps, one of the different infusion crafts or whatever for the purple slot. So that's the way we went with it. I'm pretty happy with it. So now we got the gas tanks made. Yeah, I hooked these up in line. So pretty much every one of these machines that are ejecting a gas, like right below the facade here, I put in a gas tank. So we're collecting oxygen. So this one's just about half full right now, full of the oxygen, which is pretty cool. So when we need a large amount of it, like we're starting to process a lot of things at once, it'll be able to pull from this, and the machine above will slowly be able to refill this as it needs it. The hydrogen chloride over here, we are using a lot of that right now because we have another ultimate gas tank over here collecting sulfuric acid. Yeah, the sulfuric acid uses the hydrogen chloride as well to make the different bits and pieces for that. So you can see this thing looks like it's empty. It's slowly processing. Yeah, this hydrogen chloride to infuse the gunpowder full of sulfur to do this whole process step. Okay. So anyway, it's going to take a while for this whole thing to fill up, all those tanks to fill up, but I think overall it's going to be much better. Also outside by our brine setup, yeah, I put in the quantum tank out there. Come on, server, stop lagging on me. We put the tank out here kind of the same way. So yeah, this pipe goes right into here, and we've collected 3.3 million millibuckets of brine, which is pretty awesome. That's quite a lot. What is that? That's 3,300 buckets of the stuff. So yeah, when we need the brine, we will always have that on tap. It's going to be a lot nicer with this setup, having all the storage available for all the different things. All right, guys, so I think we'll move on to something else from what we've been doing the last few episodes. Let's go ahead and take a look at RFTools dimensions. Yeah, so RFTools dimensions, obviously, as the name implies, it's how we can make another dimension. So we've looked at RFTools in the past. I just grabbed the RFTools dimension manual. I was kind of going through this, see if anything was changed significantly. It doesn't really look like that. So if we search RFTools, you can see I got some things made. I got some things on AutoCraft, so we can make the dimension inscriber, we can make the dimension builder, the matter transmitter, and then matter receiver. All of those are on AutoCraft right now, so that's pretty awesome. So we have all these different things together. I'm thinking we should put them back here in our portal room. Just kind of makes sense, right? We might set up a little spot right here, put the dimension builders on the wall, and the matter transmitter receiver in the floor down here. I think that's, or maybe we put the one for the deep dark in the wall. We could put the matter transporter and the receiver in the wall. Anyway, we'll figure that out. That's not of any import right now. So we'll just go and stick this guy down. And I just clicked that, it's gone. It's right there. The lag. The lag is real. I'm kind of hoping... I was doing some research on Minecraft, and I remember a while ago that Dinnerbone said that he was adding something to Minecraft to make separate dimensions on their own threads. And I went back and I looked, and that appears to have happened in Minecraft 1.8, the first release of Minecraft 1.8. So what that means, if different dimensions are on their own separate threads in programming terms, that means like if you're in a different dimension, things should happen faster than they do in the overworld. Anyway, that's one of the things I'm kind of interested in checking out to see if we can go to a separate dimension. If things are still as laggy as they are here, we're kind of reaching the point in the overworld where a lot of things are happening here. And I'm almost thinking of moving out, but I don't know if I want to do that permanently. But anyway, we got a few more machines here. We got a dimension. What we got here? A dimension inscriber and a dimension builder. So we'll go and put those guys down here. So the inscriber, I believe we have to put a... Oh, I forgot to grab that. The tablet, what is this thing called? Dimension tab. We have to put that in this guy. And then we can store it and then, add different parts if we wanted the dimension to be something else. And then we put it over here in the dimensional builder, and then it realizes the tab, and then we can go there. In fact, since we're going to be doing like a blink one, I don't think we have to do anything in that machine. We just need to put it over here. Actually, maybe we do. That's if do I have to name it? Hypnotizd store. There it is. Realize dimension tab. So it says current power. It says it has all the power. Do we have to provide these power at all? I'm not sure. Maybe it just comes with power to begin with. I don't know. It says ID too. So I think this is the same world that somebody else has made previously. I'm willing to bet that's the same world that somebody else has. So we don't have to power this. Somebody else is already powering this one. But we'll go ahead and set it up anyway. So I need to run power cables over here. Yeah, the way RFTools dimensions work, I should probably explain that. I'm probably not making sense. It says somewhere in here, I think like page 2 or 3. First thing, yeah, the first thing is important to understand is that worlds you create are not necessarily unique, right? If a pattern of code is used to create one world, using the same pattern of code will create the same world again. So since I put no tabs or anything in there, that's probably the same exact dimension as whoever made Dim2, ID number 2, right? So that's why I was saying that somebody else looks like they're powering that dimension, so I don't have to worry about powering it. But say they stop powering it, they don't want that dimension anymore. Yeah, that's definitely something I'm going to have to be concerned about. So I'm going to go ahead and run some power lines over to that area, get everything all sorted, and we will be right back, guys. All right, guys, well, I got the power ran over here. I got our different machines in the wall. We have our dialing device. This is another machine that I didn't make previously. We need the dialing device to tell our matter transmitter where to go. So you can right click on this and you give it a name. So I called it Hypnotizd Overworld Base. There's also a matter receiver, which we should probably do the same thing. Hypnotizd Overworld Base. And you just have to click off it. I don't think there's anything else you need to do there. So you can set this to public and private so other people can't warp here or whatever, but I think it's fine just the way it is. So yeah, everything should be powered up. We have our Realize Dimension tab here. So all we'd have to do is click this, and then I believe we just have to scroll down to ID2, double click it. It says receiver is too far to highlight. Oh wait, okay. I double clicked. I was not supposed to. You click here and then you say dial. Now it says dial okay. Right, so now we should be able to go there. I was gonna say we should be concerned about the receiver, but since we're playing on this server with FTB utilities, if I ever want to get back, we have the FTB home command, and I can just warp back to my base. So that's not really a thing that I need to be concerned about. Not on this server anyway. So I guess we can put those conduits away. I think we should be fine just to go there and check it out. Armor's all good. Yeah, let's go ahead and do that. I guess I'll put this wrench away. Let's stand right here and see what happens. Okay, so we're in a fully stone area with mushrooms, which is kind of cool. We got a dark sky that is kind of jittery, looks like. So I guess the tick lag that we were seeing before is still in effect in a RFTools dimension. Okay. Well, I wonder what's here, if there's anything of interest. Okay, so we got these buildings around. These are the ones you need to go to. and loot to collect the different Dimlets so you can make your own world. Now there's a block right here, so I imagine somebody's already been through here and looted it, and it appears so. Yeah, there is a hole in the ceiling, so I can only imagine somebody's gone through a lot of the different things in this world and has done that. Other things I'm curious about though, let's go back in here away from Mr. Skeleton who wants to shoot me. If we go all the way down, like, I assume stone is just replaced with bedrock. I'm sorry, stone is replaced with cobblestone. I don't know in this dimension if there's ores that spawn. I would like to get myself some of the dimensional shards, which you can only get from the RFTools dimensions. The shards you can use in the machine infuser, so they use less power overall. So if you get a really expensive dimension that you built yourself, it costs less to power it, things like that. Okay, so we're down at bedrock level, not flat bedrock, so that's a thing. I mean, I haven't seen a single ore yet. That doesn't mean there won't be any, but there is none yet. So I think what I'm going to do, I'm going to grab my hammer here. And we're going to just start hammering out and see if there's any ores here. It kind of looks like it's just going to be all cobblestone, but you never know unless you go for it. Like I said, I want the dimensional shards. Another way we could get that is by breeding some villagers. Well, not really breeding them, spawning in villagers. We can just capture one, make a spawner out of them, get the RFTools villager, and usually they got trades for those dimensional shards. But I figured we'd come here first, see what we could get. It doesn't look like this is too promising of a dimension, does it? Yeah, we might have to scout around and get ourselves some of the Dimlets from those randomly generated buildings. I haven't seen a single ore. I think I'm gonna go ahead and assume there are no ores in this world, which is kind of stinky, kind of poopy, but it's just the way it is. Yeah, I was gonna say, I guess another thing we could do is find some kind of like a mining device or whatever to search for ores. I don't think Mekanism has a digital miner anymore, so that's not really a thing we can do. I guess I'm just gonna fly around for a little while. See, yeah, we got two buildings right here. I can only imagine those have been looted as well. There's the third one. Yeah, they got the holes in the roof. That means somebody's already been in them. Okay, well, I'm gonna fly around. Probably, let's go the other direction. We might go this direction, this way. Let's see if we can get some Dimlets that. Yeah, there's nothing here. All right, let's go. All right, guys, well, not too far in the opposite direction. Yeah, I was able to find one of these buildings, like pretty close actually to where we left off. So we can do nether brick. We got some of these other different ones where you can build our own parts. We got memory unit, energy module, basic energy, and these are probably the ones we want right here. So let's take a look at what those are. So we ended up getting netherrack, effect, dimlet, none, and sandstone. So we got nether brick and nether rack in the same building. Okay, well, I'll go ahead and store these with us. We'll just keep going around trying to collect a bunch of these things. I'm not really sure what kind of a dimension that I want to build. If I want to do, yeah, here's another one right here, not lit up. I'm not sure if I want to do like a void world or something else. These are things we'll have to figure out. I guess I'll get inspiration once I figure out all the Dimlets that we've collected and what we can do with them. So Dimlet control rarity 0, saturation 1. That's going to make it expensive having that kind of stuff. But it would be quite nice having saturation. You never have to worry about eating while you're in that dimension, right? And what do we get here? Dirt, oak wood, and dimensional cross to block, which I think that might be like one of these. Yeah, dimensional cross blocks, one of these RFTool blocks. Let me get in here. All right, guys. Well, I ended up flying around that RFTools dimension for quite some time, actually. We collected a decent amount of those different Dimlets and the different parts and things like that so we can create our own. We even got some of these Dimlet parcels. These are kind of like a present. It says a present for you. Use it well. Right click to get the gifts. So these, when you right click on them, they give you a bunch of the different parts to make your own Dimlets. I'm really not sure how much of this stuff we're going to be doing. We'll go ahead and do this a few times. Let's see what we get. I don't know if you get actual Dimlets or just the parts. It kind of looks like just the parts, right? So we got like a time controller, a time type controller, so we can make something, so we can make it always noon or whatever. Yeah, different things like that are pretty cool with this mod. You can pretty much make any kind of dimension you could possibly ever want by doing this kind of stuff. So we got a bunch of these different parts. We'll look at making our own Dimlets at some point in the future, I'm sure. Let's go back in here. So something else I noticed, like cobblestone, for instance, there's a whole bunch of these different cobblestone dimlets. There's like 3 of them that don't stack and 2 of them that do. Why they stack? I don't know. Why these don't stack? I don't know. They all look exactly the same. They're all rarity 0. They all say like create 3 RF, maintain 1 RF. There's nothing about them that I can tell is different, but obviously there's something different about them. So yeah, we were getting a few different dimlets like that. Maybe dirt is another one. Yeah, we got 3 different dirt ones and they don't stack. Why? I have no idea. Is there different types of dirt in the game? Potentially, maybe these are like chiseled dirt and it doesn't say what happens. Let's search dirt real quick. Is there like different dirts in here that just say dirt? Oh, you know what? Maybe that's what it is. Maybe some of those are chiseled dirts. How are we going to know which one's the base, the regular dirt? I don't know. Well, that's something that we'll have to take into consideration. Although I don't really think we're going to be making a world and specifying dirt or cobblestone, right? I don't know. Anyway, guys, I'm going to have to spend some time searching for more dimlets if we want to make the perfect dimension. Like I said, I would like to get myself some kind of a void world, I'm pretty sure. If for nothing else, making things like mob farms, or maybe moving some laggy machines there that don't want in the overworld. You know, things like that just kind of makes sense that we have an alternate dimension or someplace else to put them. Yeah, so we'll have to look at that. Maybe next episode. I'm not sure when we'll do that. But anyway, guys, we're going to go and wrap the episode up here for today. Hope you guys liked it. Yeah, oh, you know what? One more thing. Before we go, I did notice over here that these Mekanism pipes, we were talking about the Chisel and Bits earlier. I said, I don't know if this is Mekanism that's causing this or Chisel and Bits. Yeah, if we break these pipes, we break this one and the next one down. Oh my goodness, they break. They take so long to break. Why? Can I get the this configurator? Let's do this. This will make this so much easier. We want this on wrench. There we go. Now it breaks. Wow, the lag. So if I get rid of that pipe, yeah, the grass takes on the correct biome. If we put the pipe back through there, it loses the biome. So I'm gonna have to say that's a fault on Mekanism, but I don't know. I don't know how these things work. But anyway, guys, that's gonna do it for today. Thank you guys for watching. Remember to leave a like on the episode if you liked it, and we'll see you next time. Thanks for watching, guys. Bye-bye.